my God, I'm here to talk about Week 11 of the New York Jets, where they lost 10-3 to the New England Patriots in the most embarrassing way possible. 10-3, and it was not even 10 because that wasn't on the defensive side of the ball. That was the special teams unit. And people want to talk about an illegal block on the back on that play. I couldn't care less about any illegal block in the back, about any call that should have been or shouldn't have been. You did not deserve in any alternate reality to win that game. You went 30 minutes without a first down in this game. You didn't have 100 yards of offense in this game, or if you did, you barely, and I mean barely got over that mark. You did not at all deserve to win that game. I don't care if they would have pulled out a sledgehammer and started going at kneecaps after the punt. You didn't deserve it from an offensive standpoint. The defense deserved it. They can be mad. But the offense, the special teams, no. Everyone else, shut up. The defense and the defense alone is the only reason you can be even the slightest bit mad about this game. This was the greatest defensive performance I have ever watched by the New York Jets. One of the best I've ever watched. The New York Jets defensive line today was on a different planet of good. They were otherworldly. Would they have 7 sacks? The entire defensive line was a nightmare. John Franklin Myers, Quinnen Williams, Carl Lawson, Bryce Huff. Nightmares. They ate New England alive. The secondary gave up some dink and dunk stuff, but there was never this, deep pass. It was all short. And yeah, there were some larger gains, but it was short passes that they were able to turn into a little bit more than that. But even at that, they held it to a minimum. We're getting ticky-tack, talking about 25-yard gains, which in this NFL is just sort of the natural that happens. That's not a bad game. The defense was amazing. They bent. They never broke. Never. They never broke. They gave up 1 field goal and 2 other field goal opportunities that were missed. Missed! You allowed 3 points to the Patriots in Foxborough! In Foxborough! You went into their home, their house, their kingdom, the impenetrable fortress that is Foxborough, and you allowed 3 points! That's it! 3! The defense was so good. The defense was so good. And that's what hurts the most, is that you didn't deserve the game at all. Because of the offense, and we'll talk about that, but you looked so good defensively. And the fact that it was close, that you could feel the victory, made it oh so much worse. And move to the offense. Juxtaposed to the best defensive performance I've ever watched was the worst offensive and worst play calling performance I've ever watched. Fun thing! What came first, the chicken or the egg? Was the offense terrible because Zach Wilson was terrible and couldn't call good plays, or was the offense terrible because they had awful play calling and didn't allow us to do anything? I don't know. Have one of each. I'm feeling generous because the offense looked like hot garbage today. Zach Wilson had 9 completions. We punted 10 times. There's nothing more I can say. The offense was awful. The receivers, they were open at times, but it was never some egregious thing downfield. I don't think we probably threw the ball more than 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. Couldn't. Wilson was terrible. It wasn't terrible in the way of oh, wow, he can't really thread the ball today. He's making bad... Guys, he couldn't hit targets that were standing alone 20 feet away from him. Ghastly, terrifying, scary, slamming the panic button bad from Zach Wilson. And that brings me to this, because this isn't the same old Jets, right? You watch this game, and I never for a moment thought about the same old Jets. I'm oh, this is just classic Jets. Because they're not. The Jets this season have turned the corner. And I've been saying that, and a lot of people see this game and go, oh, I guess they haven't. This game is not indicative of anything. It is systemic between 2 teams in sports. This has nothing to do with anything else. The Jets have turned a corner this season. They have. They have undeniably turned a corner. The player development with young players has been fantastic. The development of players you've brought in via trades or signings has been fantastic. The coaching, for the most part, again, play calling today was awful, but for the most part this season has been great. Scheming has been great. You've turned the corner. The same old Jets would not have entered that game against New England a couple weeks ago with an opportunity to be what? It was 6-2 going into the Buffalo game. You had the opportunity. The same old Jets wouldn't have had that opportunity to be really, really good, almost locking up a playoff spot with a win over the Patriots. And the same old Jets wouldn't have then turned around after getting beat by the Patriots at home and beat the Bills, who are the debatably toast of the AFC. Same old Jets wouldn't have done that. Same old Jets wouldn't have allowed 3 points in Foxborough. We're not the same old Jets. This is systemic of the fact that you are the Jets, they are the Patriots, and the Patriots beat the Jets. It's that. That's it. I don't believe in curses or hexes or ghouls or goblins. I don't care. But, oh my God, I look at this team, the demon that you cannot beat, the demon that you have not been able to slay in 7 years is the Patriots. And even when you do everything right from one aspect, you can't. You can't. And even at that, right? The offense was terrible, but they didn't have any stupid turnovers. There were some turnover-seeming plays that really should have been because Zach Wilson nearly put it just glove to glove. It was genuinely shockingly bad. But there wasn't the turnover. You're the Jets, and you lose to the Patriots. And it sounds dumb that that's my analysis of the game, but that's the conclusion I've come to. I don't know that we'll ever beat them. And I'm barely making a joke when I say that. This game sucked because it was so eternally winnable. And if you would have been even okay offensively, you could have had the second worst performance of the season. Even at that, you could have had the worst offensive performance this season that you've had all year long. The worst offensive performance. And just so long as it wouldn't have been this low, you would have won. But you found a new layer of hell to dig down into for this game from an offensive standpoint. And I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. And the thing is, right, because you've watched Zach Wilson play this year, and the two genuinely terrible games, the two undeniably, like, whoa, those were bad, were both against New England. When he's playing everyone that isn't New England, he is undefeated and has looked pretty all right. And so there's that stupid part in the back of my mind that's like, maybe he just can't beat New England. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe he's just not good against the Patriots. And I'm like, oh, wouldn't that be handy? If we have a quarterback who can do well against everyone else except the rivals that we would sell our souls to beat. I don't know. I can yell and scream, and I love this team so much. I love the Jets so much. I just want to see them be good, and you could have changed every narrative today. You did so well defensively. 3 points. 3. And you lose. And it's just... You're so close. That's the thing. That I'm mad and I scream, and it's because I care so much about that stupid team that plays in Jersey. We play again next week. We're going to be home for the Bears, 1 o'clock. And we're going to win. That's the thing. We could legitimately, we could just go on a streak. We could win like 4 in a row and I wouldn't be shocked. Because we're not the same old Jets. We're not. We're not those. We're not that same crappy team. Same crappy team would have just gotten blown out. We're different. But even in difference, some things never will change. So I'll be here next week. to talk about the Bears game. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Jets.